Welcome to Adapt Productions. I'm your host today, Susan Aarup, and I'm so glad to be here. And we are going to be talking about the Chicago Disability Action Collective, otherwise known as CDAC, and some of its campaigns. And I'd like to introduce my guest, Lacy Jazmine Coates, and Michael Grice. But welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
And tell me, if you can tell me, what is CDAC and how long has it been going on?
CDAC started in 2015, and the reason it started was to give people with disabilities, all types of disabilities, a voice, so that they could speak up about their concerns in the community, in the workplace, school, wherever. So it's a cross-disability organization.
So that means that anyone can...
Anyone can join CDAC at any given time.
And you just wanted to bring people together.
But, well, right
And
now
you
we're
can.
working on an SSI campaign for people with disabilities that are in nursing home and other types of institution, because the monthly allowance that they get does not allow them to live a productive life. Say if they want to transition out of the nursing home into the community, they're not able to do that because it's impossible to save up $30 a month if you find an apartment and you want to move. It's impossible for that resident to be able to afford the first month's rent and the security deposit. So this effort that CDAC is doing will somewhat improve the lives of people with disabilities that are in institutions.
Angela,
Yes.
could you tell me how much money that people get on SSI? And is that a living income?
Folks getting $771 a month, and that is impossible to live on. People do it on a daily basis because they have no choice, but it's impossible to live on that amount of money each month.
And then also I know that people have to rely on food stamps and subsidies and those services are getting cut too, because often I've read that people on SSI have to live in lower income housing, and there's not enough accessible and affordable housing for people with disabilities. Is that true?
Yes, that's very true. And what happens there is the neighborhoods are not safe. It's a lot of inaccessibility throughout the neighborhoods, but basically not safe. The apartments are not accessible. So it creates a huge barrier for people with disabilities.
So, does anyone know how many people actually get SSI in Illinois?
We did a study in 2016, and we found that 152,761 folks are at that time were currently receiving SSI supplements.
And I've also read where sometimes there's overpayments and things like that, where the feds actually take some of the money away for the SSI. Has that happened to any of you?
Sometimes those overpayments, Susan, come from people who work, and if they don't let Social Security know that they're working, that can entail an overpayment. Especially when sometimes you're responsible for what you do. So if you don't tell them, of course, an overpayment will concur on that, and until that is paid off, and then they can, you get your regular monthly income.
So is SSI kind of like a disincentive to work or not?
I think it is, because for every dollar a person makes on SSI, they take two. So I really believe that there is a disincentive.
But then isn't SSI, does SSI get you out of poverty?
No.
No.
So how is this increase gonna help?
This increase is going to help because there's so many stories out here about people who are struggling and trying to make ends meet. And for an example, if a person is on getting housing, and then they have to pay so much on housing, it's going to be like 100 and go ahead.
I read that it
44.
It should be 140 or 142 per month.
Mm-hmm.
That would mean that people would be, I thought, maybe be able to go out to dinner or go out for coffee or to a movie, so people can have more of a social life and improve, like Mike said, improve the quality of life. And do you think that'll happen?
Yes, I think it'll happen.
So currently, how many states have this supplemental on top of the SSI?
Currently, there's 12 states.
And Illinois is not one of them.
Not at all.
No.
That's why we're fighting to get this, because you have California, which is one of the biggest states. You have New Jersey, to name a few, and even Nevada. They're even, one of the 12 states.
So there is a precedent for this. Mm-hmm. So it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
We wouldn't be reinventing the wheel.
Right. This is not something new. Now, yeah.
I think what we have to do is to eliminate the fear in our communities that this increase will help, because I've already heard from a lot of consumers that said, well, I'm going to get a possible increase, But what does that do for me in the long run? It's still not enough for me to live a productive, a productive life
What?
in the community.
Well, don't you think it would help, Mike?
It will help, but once again, there's a lot of I don't want to use the word fear, but
Uncertainty, maybe?
uncertainty from the residents that are in institutions. I can say that because I've been on that side of the fence.
Have we brought this campaign to other organizations, and do other organizations, and Jazmine, how can they support CDAC?
Okay, they can. My name is Jazmine Coates, and they can also support CDAC by coming to the meetings every first Saturday of the month.
Where are the meetings usually at?
The meetings are usually at the library.
Different libraries?
Yes, it's different libraries. We don't have a set library to where we're meeting at. It's always different locations of different libraries.
Throughout the whole city?
Yes, throughout the whole city.
And that's that helps to initiate people can come, so they can come from all over the city.
Yes. If you don't mind, Susan.
Go ahead.
The other thing that I wanted to also add with the, we're also getting it raised for the SSI is that, okay, when you get a raise on your SSI, you are also, that kind of could affect your link as well too, and because you don't know if they're gonna cut you don't know of if they're gonna cut your link as well too.
Well, let me interject here. That's part of why CDAC exists, and that part of it is true, but not with CDAC. We're going to make sure that if people are getting link, if they're getting housing, we're going to make sure that that has nothing to do with one over the other. This money is coming from through increasing estate, meaning if someone rich passes away, then we'll use the larger portion of that money
Of the estate
the estate tax. And we made sure that if you're getting link or any type of other assistance from other companies, that it's not going to affect you in any way. So that's a separate entity, than what's going on now with Social Security.
So what other things has CDAC been a part of in the past?
We have been a big part of the housing fight in the city of Chicago, working with a very large coalition of organizations that have been working for affordable, accessible, integrated housing for everyone in the city of Chicago, especially for low-income individuals.
Would this increase be for everyone in Illinois, or is it just Chicago?
Everyone in Illinois.
Everyone.
What about transportation? Have you done anything with Pace per Transit?
We have had meetings. We've gone to their headquarters and had an action to voice our displeasure with the type of services that our movement is getting as far as on-time performance and cleanliness of the vehicles. Those are just a couple of things, but there's a lot more that goes along with that.
Do you do anything like for fun as a group? Like go to movies in the park in the summer? And when you say cross disability, what does that actually mean to you? When you say you're a welcoming group, is anyone with a disability welcome to join?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Everybody in, nobody out.
Okay.
I've heard that slogan before.
Yes, and that's a common slogan that is starting to be used in the disability movement. Everybody in, nobody out. That simply means that CDAC does not discriminate against anyone with a disability.
And we're all, so it's all for one and one for all mentality?
Exactly.
And so if you guys can tell me individually, how do you think the campaign is going? What are some of your concerns?
My main concern is getting other organizations on board.
Okay.
And I do know that that's a difficult process, but I also know that there's power in numbers.
So building a coalition is important. How about you, Jazmine?
I would have to say building a coalition of people, trying to get more people to actually come to our meetings, that's going to be very hard for people to actually get around, and for people to actually get around to come to meetings because they're so scared of coming to actual meetings.
And how can does CDAC do anything to eliminate those fears? What can we do? How about, is inviting people a good way?
Yes, we invite people. You can invite your family, your friends, other organizations that you're a part of, because this is a huge campaign, and everyone has a disability. So your grandmother, your mother, your father, your sisters, everyone is can come to see that and be a part of this coalition, and just come in and just be a part of something that is going to be so huge that you're going to be a part of, that you're going to be excited about. So yes, the door is open to every walk of life. Everybody's welcome, and we are a very friendly group. We're very loving, we're very caring, and it's a party when you come in.
Mm-hmm.
It really is a party when you come in, when you're a part of CDAC. And when you come in to CDAC, you don't want to leave. So, it's all like, yeah.
The mission of CDAC is all about making change. We don't just think about ourselves. We think about every community that is missing housing, transportation, healthcare, whatever it may be.
And so, if I was skeptical, what's something I can tell people to come? Just come on in and learn about our campaign. Well, SSI has been the same for years. What makes you think it'll be any different? So I should come in and find out.
Well, you know, we had to start somewhere, and you're right. SSI hasn't been, for consumers that are in institutions, they haven't gotten a raise since the late 80s. And yeah, there is going to be skepticism, but see that the members and the organizer, we felt that we had to start somewhere.
Tell me, why are you involved? Why is it important to you?
Why am I involved?
And what's your story?
Because I'm affected personally from month to month. I have to figure out, once I pay my bills, am I going to be able to pay for a medication if that comes up? Or if I need my glasses fixed, am I going to be able to do that off of $771? So, yes, I'm affected personally. So, this is why I really believe in this campaign.
That's great.
Okay, for me, the reason why I am hoping that we do get an increase is because of the simple fact that I am on $751, and $751 is not a lot of money, especially when you have to pay rent and you have to buy certain things. And I know that I have to get my hair done and I have to pay certain things like my rent, and I also have to get my pay tickets, and then after that it's like
nothing's
left. And by that actually happening, by nothing being left, then you're stuck for the beginning, you're stuck for the rest of the month.
It affected me with my mother. She worked and held a job for years, and she had to constantly tell Social Security, that she was working, and then they constantly took her money down because she was getting, working, and it affected her in so many ways that she didn't have enough food. She had to go to family and ask for help, and it was hard to see that. It was hard to see the struggle of her being on a fixed income, and then I have friends who are struggling right now in the worst possible way. So it affects you. It hurts your heart. And I would like to see the state of Illinois to really get on this and to see people. It just hurts my heart to see this. Yeah.
So I really think CDAC is doing some good work, and I want to support it. And I thank you guys for coming, and welcome, and hearing your stories, and being a part of actions, and this action. And I'm really excited to see the cross disability, and I can't wait to check out a meeting. I'm going to tell my friends and family. Thank you very much. Michael Grice, Jazmine Coates and Angela Lacy, and this is Susan Aarup. Thank you for watching.